Welcome to Golden Mastermind Seminars Radio with your host, Jeffery Combs.
Good afternoon, everyone. Jeffery Combs, President and Founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. Welcome to Tuesday, Two for Tuesday, afternoon Facebook Live. Welcome, everyone. It is my privilege and pleasure to be here with you on Facebook Live on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. As you come on the Facebook Live, I will go ahead and acknowledge you. Welcome, everyone. It's good to be here with you on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon, mid-February. We are on the other side of the Valentine weekend, so if you're just coming on here, Morena Joy, hello to you this afternoon. Welcome. Look forward to coaching you, Morena. Good afternoon. In beautiful Kelowna, is that right, Morena? Are you skiing today? Have you been skiing? Welcome, everyone. Scott Lucas, welcome to Facebook Live on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon here in California. I understand there's some serious weather situations going on in the United States. There were multiple thousands of people without electricity in Texas. Being a former Dallas resident, that is challenging to believe. Ski on weekends in Kelowna during the week. Rick Steiner, good to see you on today's Facebook Live. Rick is one of my top tier coaches that I coach and is an exceptional man. Rick, good to have you here. Ryan Andra, welcome everyone. Lori, welcome. Very exciting times. If you're a brander, a coach, a network marketer, a direct salesperson. Carol Gallo, welcome to Facebook Live. Brenda Paradise, welcome this afternoon. Kevin Mayberry. Kevin, thank you for being on Clubhouse with me today. Eric Picard, welcome. A lot of exciting situations happening on Clubhouse. I'm going to have a few announcements about what's happening on Clubhouse. James Pryor, welcome to Facebook Live. James was a moderator with me today. James, thank you for being a moderator on Letting Go. Gail Elliott, welcome to Facebook Live this afternoon. And I appreciate all of you being here. James, that was quite a picture you had today of your lunch. Brenda, greetings, ice storm in New Hampshire. Welcome to today's Facebook Live. Janet Lloyd, I believe, is here with us. So Kevin Clinton Paulson. Kevin, how are you, my brother? Welcome. The topic for today's Facebook Live is how to get your clarity in 30 seconds or less. There is a book called How to Get Your Point Across in 30 Seconds or Less. I have that book right over in my case there, and it is definitely a skill set that I teach. Unfortunately, what many people do is they TTM, they talk too much. And this is what unfortunately many people do about being overwhelmed. Maureen, go ahead and send that article about the ins and outs of Clubhouse to me, and I will definitely take a look at it. Mari, good to see you this afternoon, and I definitely appreciate it. Franklin Gomez, that is my father-in-law from Rio de Janeiro. Welcome, everyone. So it is my absolute privilege and pleasure to be here with you. I have been on Clubhouse 3 times this morning and absolutely am crushing it. What a great new forum to create leads, traffic, and new followings. It is absolutely a skill set that you want to master. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'll be on back-to-back Clubhouse rooms. You can follow me, and I will be at 4 o'clock Eastern, that's 1 o'clock Pacific. I will be with Eric Lofholm, top-tier sales trainer, and then at 4:30, I'll be doing a Let Go group with Carla Italiano. So that will be back-to-back on Clubhouse. On Clubhouse alone this morning, I picked up almost 100 new followers and am getting invited into other people's groups. And that's really the essence of networking that you really want to start to understand about how to monetize social media. Social media is a situation that you really have to understand it really quickly, 30 seconds or less. Social media is not something you can sit and contemplate and think over and figure out. I mean, it really requires you to grasp the situation and capitalize on what is happening right now. And that's what I am watching and what I am being right here. What I'm going to be doing in the very near present is I'm going to start opening Clubhouse rooms, and then I will include my clients as moderators. And so many of you will get the opportunity to watch how we build the culture. You'll be able to participate in it. You'll be a part of it, and you'll get to speak in front of it. James Pryor was on my Clubhouse this morning, and he was a moderator, and many of you will get that opportunity, as I said, in the very near present. And so what I'm also going to be doing in Clubhouse is I'm going to come from two perspectives. There's sobriety, and I'm going to do sobriety, letting go, and then sales, branding, and marketing. So there's going to be three topics that I'm going to cover that all of you can participate in with me, and you'll watch how we, us develop cultures. And it'll be a very fascinating experience. It'll really take 2021 to the real next level of marketing. So, I mean, this is speed marketing. And this is an area that many of you require improving. And Coach Heather Vaughan will also edify that. Heather had a great month producing in her network marketing business. I believe her numbers were that Heather recruited over 50 people to her team, product consumers and people who are building a business. Heather, please edify that, how many people you enrolled in 1 month. And once again, this is because there's a certain level of speed that you require. These are reflexes. And this is in everything you do. You want to be very fast, efficient, and effective. Because you can also be very fast, overwhelmed, and ineffective. I asked a gentleman a question earlier today, and he wound up on the question. He was a couple minutes into not answering the very question I asked him, and I asked him if he remembered the question that I'd asked him, and he had forgotten. That's what many people do, is they're very slow and they're not efficient. So this is a speed game in the world today. It's a very fast world, and it's going to be your responsibility to be able to deliver clarity in 30 seconds or less. So if I stepped into an elevator and there's someone in there that I feel of influence or affluence, or they smiled or they gave me eye contact, I would look immediately at their eyes. I'd look down at their bag if they had a bag. I'd see if they had a name tag. I'd see if they were wearing anything that was significant that I could make a comment on. And I would start a conversation. And this is purpose. I mean, this is creating connection. And what many people do is they spend way too much time on the connection. They think that they have to really get to know someone and they have to spend a lot of time on it. Well, that's not necessarily true. What you want to be able to do is see if in the situation, if they qualify for what you're doing, meaning that you want to be able to establish if there's a level of rapport, Rapport. If I say hello to someone and they look down, well, they didn't reject me, but they're not open to the communication. And so you have to understand the purpose. And this is why when you call someone or reach out to someone, the purpose of my call, the reason I'm reaching out to you. When I call a restaurant, I'm not calling there to get to know the hostess. I don't want to find out everything in the menu. I want to find out if I can dine and eat at the time I'm requesting. I don't want to know a lot of background about the hostess. What I want to know is, can I dine at a time, and do you have an open table? And can I request a certain table or a certain waiter or waitress that I might know? I mean, this is the purpose. I mean, young Zach Pazanz is on today's Facebook Live. He's fastly developing into an exceptional real estate professional. I mean, 4 months, the last 6 months of 2020, Zach, while being a bartender at a Chili's in West Palm Beach, Florida, made $52,000 while he was 22 years old, part-time bartending. Then he quit his job, and he's a real estate professional. So, I mean, once again, he's very fast. He's very efficient. He's learning how to be a lot more organized, and he's starting to put it all together. Now, he also had an advantage. His mother coached with me for 6 years. So, I mean, that is an advantage, but he also has another brother that's not doing what he's doing. So he understands the value of not wasting his time. He has a mentor in his real estate real estate team, who's also a multiple six-figure income earner, who's teaching him the art of the close. This is another situation I teach, is one call closing, one conversation closing, which goes against a lot of what you're taught. A lot of people will tell you to get to know someone, develop a relationship. Well, that is possible, and there are times when that's important. But if someone's not open to the connection, you don't keep following up with them. I had someone reach out to me. They told me they wanted to hire me. Then they let me know they couldn't find their credit card. Then they let me know they lost their credit card. And I did one follow-up call. Then they let me know they had another situation going on. I'm not going to call this person 7 more times. I mean, there's a one and done, two and done, where you diplomatically move on and let people go. Jennifer, good to see you this afternoon. And this shows up in dating. This shows up with hiring a contractor, a vendor, a branding situation. If someone's not returning your phone call and you've paid them, that's one situation. You'll follow up. But it's also very important you understand who's connectable and who is not connectable. And this is why you want to be able to form the connections. This is why you want to be able to get your point across in 30 seconds or less. What most of you are is way too slow. You're too overwhelmed. You talk too much. And you get lost in the details. You get so overwhelmed at the whole process that you don't learn how to sell. Sales, S-A-L-E-S, S-E-L-L-I-N-G, sales, selling, highest paid profession in the world. The purpose is to be able to qualify the buyer for your product, service, benefit, and feature. Now, there's also the value proposition, delivering service, and you're not just out to close someone. ABC is always be connecting, always be closing, always be finishing. It's the same situation. You want to be able to state the purpose, ask the question, find out if there's a match, find out if there's a mismatch. Heather just let me know that she enrolled 54 people in 6 weeks in her network marketing business. Those are rock star numbers. And not that every one of you are going to do that. There's always variables. She may not do that every month, but what it means is she understands the speed of the connection. And when you start to understand this, then you will be a much better entrepreneur. One of my clients just came on the line. His name is Paul Stock. Paul is a top tier contractor. He runs multiple construction crews at the same time. He also owns a dump truck, and the dump truck has a snow blade on it, I believe. Paul understands the speed of finishing projects. He also understands that he has to hire the right people. He and I have coached for over years specifically on who to let go of, who not to carry, who to put in different positions. This is all part of evaluation. This means that many times you have to be able to operate in the moment, in the present. That means within 1-2 seconds you make a decision. As I said, Heather Vaughan was a Division 2 and 1 coach, men and women in volleyball. She was also an exceptional volleyball college player. So she understands the value of that split-second decision. You have to make your move before you're ready at times. You have to be able to adapt and adjust. You have to be able to create a commitment. You ask for the order. You ask for the commitment. You have to let go of being perfect because many of you are just too overwhelmed being overwhelmed. Get ready to get ready. You're always going to get ready to get ready. And you can't do that. You have to be able to size the situation up. I met a woman last Friday on Clubhouse. She's already invited me into 3 groups. One of the groups she invited me into, everyone else was making at least multiple 7 figures. I was at the bottom of the 7-figure club there. And I didn't feel intimidated. I felt awesome to be there. One of the women said, if you want to hire my services from the internet marketing, the bottom of my clients start at $25,000. She said, that may sound like a lot to you. She said, in my world, that's the bottom of where I start. I understood exactly what she meant. You want to be surrounded with people of influence and affluence. And what you're going to start to understand is that people of influence and affluence operate at a much different speed than people who are overwhelmed and emotionally addicted to a set of feelings, people who barely get by and constantly struggle. People who are highly effective, people who are highly productive. Their communication style is a lot different. They're able to deliver content very quickly. And if you're going to be in Clubhouse and you get the opportunity to share on a stage, you're not going to get to go on a drunkalog and go on and on and on because there's a lot of people waiting and you want to be able to deliver your point in a relatively short period of time, deliver value and let people know how to find you. That's one of the whole purposes of that forum is to create connections. Today alone, I was able to be a moderator on 3 different platforms. I just started. That's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to moderate. That means people feel you, they invite you in, and you're able to communicate and connect with people. James, you saw me bring Adam Sheck in there who delivered great value. See, that's right. James says you won't get into trouble, just do it. Go by your gut feeling and trust. That's absolutely correct. Brenda says a sense of urgency. That's a sense with a relaxed urgency. You're not going helter-skelter, balls to the wall, and you're not going 100 miles an hour. You want to be able to operate at about 80 to 85 miles an hour with one hand on the wheel, being able to assess the situation, the whole field of vision, so you can get from here to there in a relatively short period of time. That means when you communicate with people, you want to establish relatively quickly, is this someone I want to have a relationship with? Is this someone that I feel comfortable with? Now, this shows up in dating, in seeking teammates, in looking for contractors, vendors, the whole situation. True, you want to really get to know people, but in those first 30 seconds, you want to be able to have a gut feeling and feel what's really going on. And many people live by this benefit of the doubt. Well, benefit of the doubt often becomes a codependent emotional situation where you give people way too much room, too much latitude. You don't have clearly defined boundaries, and you get in over your head wondering how the fuck you got there. I mean, this is what you have to be real clear on. Reading a situation for what it is, trusting your feeling, being in consciousness, living in an understand, I know state. In real estate, you wouldn't drive over to someone's house, pick them up, drive them across town if they couldn't qualify for the loan. You would be able to establish that up front by asking the questions in a sequence. Let's see. Now Heather says, if you're producing, you have value to add. I had to let go of being perfect in order to jump into action and be productive. Thank you, Heather. That was great content right there. Go ahead and read what Heather said. Heather Vodgen is the woman who enrolled 54 people in her network marketing group in 6 weeks. Heather, I know how that feels. I have done that often before. James says, I'm often messaging the person that is still speaking, thanking them for sharing. It takes speed. You're correct, James. That means that you're able to multitask and do more than one situation at a time. Now, you can't do this if you're overwhelmed. That means you're able to do this in this term, a relaxed body. Now, a relaxed body means you're in consciousness. Consciousness means you understand, you're aware, you know, and you're not in control because you're letting go of control. And the better you become at this, the more attractive you become to people, because people see how effective you are. They see how skilled you are. They see how in the moment you are. They see how in the present you are. They see, sense, and feel the energy that you are transmuting. Now, these right here, this is typically an outline. I write it out in a few minutes. So there's 7 points to every one. I have a system. So when I do a 28 or a 25-minute call, there's 7 points that I typically cover. So point 1 was letting go of being overwhelmed. That's the number one situation that hinders most people. They're so overwhelmed that they can't start. Being overwhelmed is a neurological condition that's a behavior, and it's an emotional addiction that afflicts and affects a large percent of the society. It means they procrastinate. They have so much going on that they can't start. They're so overwhelmed, then they communicate. I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know where to start. And then they typically live in a series of chaos, drama. There's usually hoarding going on. Garage can't get a car into it, behind on certain situations, in relationships that are dysfunctional, they don't ever really get around to letting go of. It's an epidemic. And if this is you, I highly recommend you reach right up there and hire me to be your coach so I can assist you to understand the cause that creates the effect of why you do what you do, and then a simplified, simple process of letting go so that you can learn to organize your life so you can be a lot more effective. So when you can communicate clearly. Well, this is the epidemic. Ask someone a question, they don't answer the question, they tell you a story, you ask them if they remember the question, they don't remember it. Practice it. And also, let go of offending someone. When you ask someone, John, do you remember the question I asked you? You're not going to offend them. You're going to find out that they were so checked out, they're telling you a story completely unrelated to the question. Now, if you're overwhelmed, you'll listen to them be overwhelmed, and the two of you will have this overwhelmed conversation where there's no clarity and you don't get anywhere. And this is why it's so important that you become effective in your communication, the power of the spoken word. Your sentence structure is filled with commitment. Your sentence structure is filled with words of follow through. And the more clear you get, the more clear you become and stay in this, you'll change who and what you attract. I was in Clubhouse today and they asked me a question about attraction. And attraction is a direct reflection of what you let go of. Because if you perpetuate the same set of feelings over and over, then you'll attract your reality the same mixed message that you've been transmuting. As you start to deliver your communication with clarity, you start to attract your reality in a higher law of average. So if you're selling real estate or network marketing or direct sales or whatever it is you're selling, you're going to have a law of averages. There will be a number of people who won't connect because they're in the 80%. But it's the 20% that's very important that you start to become skilled at. And what many people do is they don't have a 20%. They just have the same 100% of nothingness and never get anywhere. That's why in your law of averages, you become very skilled at hearing what people mean, not say. When you ask someone, how committed are you? And they go, well, and they tell you a story. You ask them how committed they were. They're not saying, I'm committed. When you ask someone how serious they are about starting a business, and they tell you an answer completely unrelated to the question you ask. When you ask someone a yes or no question and they don't answer it, that's your responsibility to ask the same question twice or point out or ask the person if they understood the question so that you can have effective communication style. And when you have the opportunity to speak at a BNI meeting or Toastmasters, you don't get a half an hour. You're going to get like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 seconds. When someone asks me how long I'd like to speak, it's always less is more. I had someone who wanted me to do an hour Zoom call. I said half an hour. I mean, I can deliver in half an hour what most people will deliver an hour because less is more. I once spoke for 45 people in Long Beach, California, and left the room with $65,000. I mean, less is more. Look at what that was per minute. I mean, break that down. That's the best per minute result I've ever had. And I've had bigger results in a day, but that was 45 minutes, 65,000. I mean, the situation was right for it. The audience was right. I was on fire. I broke a couple boards, 2 boards with one hand at the same time. I mean, a lot happened in that one event. I was just like the law of averages were completely in my favor in that situation. So when you get a 90-second audition, a 30-second audition, when you step into an elevator, when you see someone that you're attracted to, when you're looking for a soulmate, a teammate, you can't just sit around and like contemplate and think and ruminate and hesitate and meditate and levitate and pontificate because that person's gone. And then you go, oh my God, I wished I would have. I felt that. Then that's what happens. And when you're buying products like I buy on eBay, I buy on auctions and bids for sports memorabilia and sports cards, you have to understand that whole bidding cycle, and you have to have your bids in right at the last few seconds. Because a $15,000 sports card, a Michael Jordan card, goes to $40,000 in a second. I mean, it all happens at the very end. And so that's what happens in auctions and bids. It's what happens at the end. You have to be, if you want something, you have to be prepared to have the money ready. And this is also what you want to be able to understand when you're selling. You want to be able to present to people who can purchase your product, services, benefits, and features. What many people do is they present to people who aren't qualified buyers and then get disappointed when the person doesn't buy. I mean, this is the key component. And then many people get seduced by the follow-up. And then you follow up with someone, they're not there. And then you say, they ghosted me. In reality, you didn't do you weren't skilled at qualifying that situation for what it is. And the better you get at this, the less overwhelmed you will be. The 30-second message, there's a purpose in it. You want to be able, in a 30-second message, who I am, where I'm from, what I do, and how I can assist you. Would you like to find out more? Those are the key points. Who I am, where I'm from, what I do, what I can do for you, and do you see the value? Can I get back with you? I mean, there's 5 to 7 points in that 30-second situation. Hi, my name is Jeffery Combs. I'm calling from Stockton, California today. The reason I'm reaching out to you is to see if you have a reservation available Saturday night, February, whatever the Saturday night is. So, and then I'm going to ask for that. Is it possible for me? See, you have to ask the possible. Is it? I mean, you ask that question. The purpose of my call, the reason I'm reaching out to you. And when you do this, you'll see what happens. I recently had someone on one of my Facebook Lives. I saw that she was on there frequently. I sent her a message, asked her if she was open to a free 20-minute coaching call. 20-minute coaching call. She hired me. Once again, this is because I saw the opportunity, and this all happened like this. I asked one of my clients recently if there was anyone in her circle of influence that she felt deserved my coaching. She gave me one phone number. I typed a message to the woman, scheduled an appointment, called her at the set time, and she hired me to be her coach in 20 minutes. I mean, this is what you want to learn is from opportunity to result. I mean, that's what I'm attempting to teach all of you. Opportunity to result. That's how you become skilled at this process. And the more you understand that money travels at a certain speed. And if you're not in that speed of money, then it's going to go to someone who is. And that's unfortunately what happens to so many people, is that situations blow by them because they're thinking, processing, analyzing, getting ready to get ready, overwhelmed, in an outer body experience, not here, not present, not now. And the more you let go, the more you separate your feelings from the events that shape them, the more you're no longer in anxiety, fear. Doubt hinders so many people because people can't pull the trigger. They can't see the forest for the trees. They wait for the perfect, magical, mythical moment. They want to know all the details. Well, you don't get to know all the details. Sometimes you have to make snap decisions. Mike Zaguer, good to see you. Mike, I want to commend you. Mike let me know that he had a 6-figure day or week in investing. I mean, once again, this can happen to you. No, I've known Mike for many years. Mike is a top tier internet marketer, TT top tier. So when Mike has a tip or Mike understands something, he knows that he has to be able to be in a position to create a decision quickly. And that's what you have to learn to do, is be able to decide quickly, be able to be here and be now, be present, be able to take advantage of the situation for what it is. I was bidding on 4 Michael Jordan cards in the last few days. One person didn't accept my bid. One person pulled out of it. And then yesterday, I had someone, and it's on its way to my house tomorrow morning, or tomorrow morning through FedEx. I mean, once again, this is speed, baby. You got to be able to move like this and be able to decide, commit, pay, and receive. And this is what you're going to be able to do. It's ask, receive, and deserve. Those 3 are in alignment. So when you start to live in clarity, you're living in clarity and letting go are simultaneous. They're in concordance. They're concurring at the same time. As you become skilled at letting go, the reflex of letting go, now you're in clarity. Your communication style will change. Your message will change. Your purpose will change. You'll be able to deliver a much more effective message when you are coming from clarity. If you're on today's Facebook Live and you're relatively new, I host this call every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Tuesday, I am also on Facebook Live twice. So I'll be back here at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tonight, 12 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So that is 2 for Tuesday. You can also find me on Clubhouse. I'm going to be starting multiple groups, and many of you will be facilitators or moderators in some of my groups that I will be starting here in the next 2 months. So it's my privilege and pleasure to be here with you on Facebook Live this afternoon. That is February 16th. We're now in the second half of the month of February. 2 months almost are down in 2020 already. If you've not accessed a free 20-minute coaching call from me, go right up there in Messenger and request a 20-minute coaching call from me, and I will return your request in 24 hours. Thanks for being here, everyone. I'll see you tonight, Facebook Live, 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern. Have a great afternoon.